In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to build a slightly more advanced address locator based on parcel data. Right, so in the last tutorial, we took the road data, in particular the name of the street, and where it started and ended on the left and where it started and ended on the right, and we used that to guesstimate, or rather the address locator, where a point would fall along that line. Right, but in reality, we know that streets aren't always created equal. Right? So if this street, for example, appears to be Penn Street, going from 3300 to 3400, 3301 to 3339, this basic locator, right, breaks it up into 100 even spaces or 50 even spaces, whatever it may be on each side. Sometimes that makes sense when we actually look at parcels to see the way addresses are. Right? It kind of adds up there. But look here, the parcels are a little bigger. The parcels are bigger here. They're smaller here. They're smaller and multi-sized here. You have some crazy large parcels here. And so on and so forth, right? So this is kind of a back of the napkin sort of, you're in a pinch. This will get you close to where the addresses are. But actually having this data allows you to get a little bit more accurate to where your point should be. But in order to match this kind of data, the Philadelphia parcels, we have to build an address locator that can read it. So as you can imagine, the primary things we're going to need to know are the actual house number, right, the address number, and then the street. So this will depend if your address locator is built to handle this: house, street. If it's not, right, for example, if it looked like this to begin with, you'd have to work on your field calculator skills to be able to strip out, right, what the address number is, and then maybe strip out what the actual name of the street. But that's for another time. So the process is similar. If we need to build something, we right-click and we go to Address Locator. This time when we're picking the style, we're going to pick Single House. So Single House matches to parcel data sets. Notice the fields are a little bit different. What are we referencing? We're going to reference my parcel data. Good, it automatically was able to find the object ID and the house number, the street name. If you want to do, you could put in street direction here, right? You could put in the street suffix, but really right now let's keep it very basic and just do the street name and the house number, which is all we need. And we're going to save it as intermediate, single house. This one will take a little bit longer, so if you need to walk away from your computer for a few minutes, that's no problem. This was bad video etiquette on my behalf. I should have limited the size to just this tiny little area. I'll make sure I remedy this for our lessons in class. if you just want to notice kind of what it's doing at the top here, like building a dictionary almost. It's telling itself what are the street names or the house names or the ranges I'm going to come across. And so that way it's storing it in its own database so we can relate to it. All right, so we've got it. It's invisible. Doesn't even look like anything happened, but there it is, the intermediate house. I'm going to geocode addresses. And then I got my intermediate single house. All right, so we've got multiple fields and single fields. I kind of actually learned an interesting thing here. Sometimes with parcels, putting it in single field causes it to work better. I'm not sure why, but multiple fields sometimes causes errors. So I'm going to go with single field. I'm going to call it single house locator, or single house output. Same thing, maybe I'll say take on the map spatial reference. If I wanted to do any of the options I could, but I'm okay. And notice something a little different happened. Only 3 matched, and 5 didn't. So why don't we dig in and try to figure out what happened? All right, so now we notice something different. Status, MMM means matched, right? Score of 100, match type. So I wonder why that matched, but that did not. 33 or West Street. So here they are. Right, so if I selected these two, it will take a moment. That one happens to be 3340. That's me looking at the point. And if I look at the parcel, $33.40 West Penn Street. And you notice the same thing would be true here. $33.38 West Penn, $33.38 West Penn. So I hope what you can appreciate here is these, the ones that matched, actually have an address that matches something stored in the parcel. There very well might be a 3320 Queens Lane, but it could be one of those things that's a duplex, right? Or it's part of a larger complex, or the address might not just exist at all. Rather, there is no parcel record for it, so it has nothing to match, and therefore they cannot match themselves. So in the next tutorial, we're going to merge these two address data sets so that if something can't find a parcel, it at the very least tries to find a location along the street. Oh, and actually before I end this was very foolish of me. Right, notice that these two, the one in pink and the one in that we just did, right, 3338, are the exact same address. Right? But this did the best that it could, imagining that the road starts here and ends here, right? Goes from 01 to 98. So it would assume this is where 34 is. But in actuality, when you look at the administrative parcel records, right, maybe the street only goes up to like 52. And that way, 3338 is actually located there. Right? So the parcels is the most accurate you can get, and then the roads.